May is National Military Appreciation Month, a perfect time to focus on the challenges facing veterans as they transition to civilian life. Recently, I spoke to author Ken Falke, who has written a new book about his experiences dealing with returning war veterans. Falke served 21 years in the Navy, much of that time as a bomb disposal specialist. I asked him how he dealt with his own emotional baggage when he left the military.
It's a long story, and we talk about a lot of it in the book, but really, I lost my mom at when I was 7 years old. She died of cancer. She was 29. I broke my back in 1989 in a parachute jump. I thought that was the end of my military career. I've been in combat. I've had friends die, and I've had friends die over the last 17 years of war.
Well, what concerns you the most about the war veterans that are returning and adjusting to civilian life?
I think what concerns me the most is the fact that the mental health system isn't keeping pace with the severities of these injuries. And we're having, statistically speaking, we have 20 veterans a day who take their own lives. Suicide in our nation, just in general terms in our nation, is the only cause of death that's on the rise. About 123 Americans a day take their own lives. 20 of those are veterans. And what I'm most worried about is that the mental health system just can't keep up with the pace of what's happening in the aftermath of these wars in Afghanistan and Iraq.
Now, you operate wellness centers for veterans. What results have you seen working with these vets?
So we operate 2 wellness centers, one in Virginia and one in Arizona, called Boulder Crest Retreats. And what we've seen is that most vets don't want to have therapy. Most vets are looking for a meaningful way of transitioning into this new normal, into their new lives, into this future. And really what we see is that the way the mental health care treats veterans is really focused on a symptom reduction model. You got depression, anxiety, insomnia. If we can make those things a little bit better, maybe we call it success. And what we say is that we don't want veterans to live this diminished life or live a life that's not just surviving, just kind of getting through the day to day. What we believe very strongly is that post-traumatic growth, which is what our programs are based on scientifically, that veterans should thrive in the aftermath of trauma and not just survive. And that's really what our program's about, is teaching veterans how to come back from war and be the productive members here in society that they were on the battlefield.
The book is called Struggle Well, Thriving in the Aftermath of Trauma. Ken Falke, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks, Elliot. Thank you very much.
And to buy a copy of the book or to get more information about Ken Falke's work with veterans, go to strugglewell.com. You can find out more about his retreats that he runs for veterans in Virginia and Arizona. And guys, he says that this is aimed at veterans, but it could help anybody struggling with stress, anxiety, PTSD. There's a lot of good advice in that book.
It's so necessary,
I'm glad he's focusing on them. It's so necessary. We've been at war for the last 17 years. So there are so many veterans out there.
Hundreds of thousands of them that are here and need help. All right.
Great.